Hello, and thanks for clicking on this next Algebra 1 production. Today we're going to talk about solving systems by substitution. Okay? Alright, so let's get started. Okay, so here's a system of equations. Y equals negative 4x plus 2 and y equals 6x minus 8. I want to solve this system. Now, you could solve this system by graphing. It's not a bad idea to try it by graphing, although I'm not really sure if I'm going to have the room on my piece of graph paper to go 8 units down, right, for that y-intercept, okay, which may be a problem. So instead, I'm going to do this by substitution. All right, so over here on the side, I'm going to show you something, and then we're going to use it to try to solve this problem, okay? So let's see. I know for certain that 4 is equal to 3 plus 1. All right, I know that for certain. I also know for certain that 4 is equal to 2 plus 2. So now, if I know 4 is equal to 3 plus 1, and I know 4 is equal to 2 plus 2, then isn't it true that 3 plus 1 is equal to 2 plus 2? Sure, of course it is, right? Because both of these are equal to 4. That one's equal to 4. That one's equal to 4. So then they both have to be equal to each other. That's the only way it works, right? That's how the equality sign or the equal sign works. Okay? Over here, it says the same thing as it does over here. Except now, instead of 4, it says y is equal to negative 4x plus 2. But then it also says y is equal to 6x minus 8. So then I could take one equation and put it into the other. So the two of them have to be equal to each other. So negative 4x plus 2 has to equal 6x minus 8. It's the only way it works. And now I need to solve this equation for x. Okay, so I'm going to move the smaller x. I'm going to add 4x on both sides. And I have 2 is equal to 10x minus 8. I'm going to add 8, trying to get x alone. 10 is equal to 10x, and divide both sides by 10, and I have x equals 1. Now, that's great. I have x equals 1. But remember, your solution, final solution, has to be a point. It has to have an x and a y. I know the x coordinate is 1. I need the y coordinate. Well, I can get y by just taking x and plugging it into one of these two equations. Doesn't matter which one. So I'm going to plug it into the bottom one because it looks a little easier. So y I know is equal to 6x minus 8. I'm going to put 1 in there. Whoops. Sorry, folks. So I know x is 1. I took x equals 1. And I plugged it in up here for x. Rewrote everything else. And now I'm going to clean this up. Y is 6 times 1 is 6. Minus 8. 6 minus 8. That's negative 2. There's my solution, 1, negative 2. What does it mean? It means that if I were to graph, okay, these two lines, they would meet or intersect at the point 1, negative 2. All right, that's how you would do a problem by substitution. Okay, so here's one more example. I want you to try to solve x equals 3y plus 1 and 2x plus 4y equals 12. Okay, so now if you look, we have one equation that's in standard form down here and another equation that's solved for a variable. So we are going to take the equation that's solved for a variable and we are going to substitute it into this second equation that's here. We know x is equal to 3y plus 1. So x has another name. Its other name is 3y plus 1. So in place of x, that you see down here, we're going to replace it with 3y plus 1. That's its other name. And we're going to write everything else that's here across. Okay, so if we look at that second equation, we try to rewrite it. We start with 2. Now, we're going to replace x. What is x? X is 3y plus 1. So in place of an x, in parentheses, we're going to write 3y plus 1 plus 4y equals 12. We're just rewriting the rest of the second equation. Now we want to solve this equation for y. So what do we do next? We're going to distribute 2 to each one of those. We have 6y plus 2 plus 4y equals 12. We're going to combine the like terms. 6y and 4y make 10y plus 2 equals 12. And now we are going to subtract 2 on each side. We have 10y equals 10. And we're going to divide both sides by 10. And we get y equals 1. So we know 1/2 of this point. We know the y is 1. But now we need the x. To get the x coordinate, you're going to take y equals 1, and you're going to plug it in. You're going to substitute it into one of these two equations. It doesn't matter which one, okay? Doesn't matter which one. I'm going to plug it into the top one because I think it's easier to use the top one. So I'm going to take y equals 1. I'm going to substitute it in up here. I have x equals 3 times 1 plus 1. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. So my x value is 4. My y value is 1. If I were to graph these two lines, they would intersect at the point 4, 1. And that is how you solve a system by substitution.